Dominic Cummings is a baddie. But what kind? There is plenty of consensus across Europe that Boris Johnson's special advisor is somehow responsible for the disaster of Brexit. But the continent's commentators just cannot agree on exactly how to portray him. Is he a clown, a cartoon bad guy rubbing his hands together with a bwahaha as his plotting comes to nothing? Or is Mr Cummings an evil genius, a Machiavellian power behind the throne helping to wrench apart the entire post-war European order? This week Mr Cummings made the cover of the New European. His face, reimagined as a caricature of the Mekon, the comic book enemy of Dare, somehow managed to combine both of his images, comedic and tragic. There is a reason there is so little agreement on Mr Cummings. Because the 47-year-old represents something new, something different in British politics. But the chattering classes, the writing classes, have not yet quite managed to put their fingers on what that is. Journalist James Ball, writing in the New European, stressed the importance of Mr Cummings' interest in OODA loops, the processing of observe orient decide act adopted by fighter pilots in the Korean War. Yes, politics in an era of rolling news and Twitter is like getting into a dogfight with a MiG over Pyongyang. You don't have much time to think. Mr. Ball wrote, the usually sedate corridors of Westminster needs to feel like a whir of urgent, pressing chaos, with ever more chaos on the horizon if you do the wrong thing. Nothing is predictable, everyone is confused, nothing makes sense, and, how's your OODA loop working now? Mr. Cummings is not just disrupting and disorientating his political enemies. He is also doing the same to political observers. And so we get the astonishing variety of descriptions of the former vote leave strategist in the UK and other parts of Europe. France's Le Journal du Dimanche calls him the pirate of Downing Street. Swashbuckling. Over at Le Point Mr Cummings is fouche. Shy? Wild? The Catholic Daily La Croix reckons he is an eminence grise. Surely not? Mr Cummings might be a champion behind-the-scenes operator, but he certainly is not yet eminent. Italian magazine Formish called Mr Cummings Bojo's Bannon, a reference to the alt-right campaigner Steve Bannon who ended up advising US President Donald Trump in the White House. The New York Times called Mr Cummings the Rasputin of Boris Johnson. This was picked up by everybody from TV station Euronews to newsprint commentators in almost every capital. Is Mr Cummings really like Rasputin, the disheveled and unwashed mad monk who seemed to mesmerize the Russian royal family in their last years in power? Rasputin, as Mr Cummings, a Russophile, knows only too well, ended up stabbed, tied up and thrown into St. Petersburg's Neva River by Mode. For more on this story, visit the news article link.